Dodo had always been ambitious. Born in a small village nestled near the banks of the mighty Zambezi River, she grew up under the watchful eyes of her mother, who was known throughout the village for her culinary prowess. Dodo's childhood was filled with the aromatic scents of spices being ground in a mortar, the sizzle of peppers frying in palm oil, and the comforting warmth of freshly baked cassava bread. Her mother's cooking was not just food, it was a celebration of their cultural heritage, each dish telling a story of their ancestors, the land, and the seasons. As Dodo grew, so did her love for the kitchen. Each meal was an opportunity to learn, to experiment, and to innovate. Her mother's recipes, which had been passed down through generations, were a sacred blend of rich spices like cinnamon and cardamom, fresh herbs like basil and lemongrass, and traditional cooking techniques that preserved the essence of their heritage. When the time came for Dodo to leave her village and seek a better life in the bustling city, she carried these recipes with her as if they were treasures. With nothing more than a cooking pot, a handful of spices, and an unwavering determination, she set up a modest stall in the heart of the city's vibrant marketplace. At first, Dodo's stall was just another among many, but her dishes soon began to draw crowds. Her fried plantains, crisp on the outside yet soft inside, were flavored with just the right pinch of salt and chili. Her spiced goat stew, slow-cooked to perfection, was a testament to her patience and skill, with each bite offering a burst of flavors from coriander and cloves. But it was her jollof rice, cooked with tomatoes, peppers, and a secret mix of spices, that really began to turn heads. However, it was her signature dish, Bamba Magic, that catapulted her from obscurity to fame. This soup was unlike any other, thick, hearty, and imbued with flavors that seemed to dance on the tongue. Made from a base of palm nut cream, it was enriched with an array of local vegetables, smoked fish, and a special blend of spices that Dodo kept a closely guarded secret. Customers from all walks of life would gather around her stall, drawn by the enticing aroma wafting through the air. They swore there was magic in the soup, some claimed it cured their ailments, others said it brought them luck. Whispers of its enchanting qualities spread like wildfire. Dodo would listen to these tales with a sly smile, her eyes twinkling with mischief. When asked about the secret behind her soup, she would simply say, "It's all in the ingredients," leaving everyone to wonder if there was indeed a touch of magic in her cooking, or if it was just the magic of a truly gifted chef. As word of Dodo's delight spread, her small stall was no longer enough. The city was beginning to recognize not just her culinary skills, but the heart and soul she poured into every dish, making her not just a cook, but a storyteller, a keeper of culture, and a rising star in the vibrant tapestry of city life. One fateful morning, just as the sun was beginning to cast long shadows over the marketplace, a stranger appeared at Dodo's stall. He was unlike any of her regular patrons, gaunt, with an air of mystery, and eyes that seemed to pierce through the very fabric of existence. His presence alone chilled the bustling warmth of the market. His voice was low, almost a whisper, as he leaned closer. "Beware of secrets kept too long," he muttered, placing a silver coin on her counter, which seemed to gleam oddly in the morning light. "For they have a way of unraveling when you least expect it." Dodo's hands trembled as she handed him a bowl of her renowned Mbamba magic soup, her mind racing with the implications of his cryptic warning. The man's gaze lingered on her, his eyes holding a depth of knowing that made her feel exposed. Then, as suddenly as he had appeared, he turned and vanished into the crowd, leaving behind a palpable sense of unease. She shook her head, trying to dismiss the encounter as she greeted the next customer with a forced smile. However, the stranger's words echoed in her thoughts, mingling with the clatter of the market and the chatter of the crowd. The secret behind Dodo's Mbamba magic soup was as bizarre as it was effective. Beneath the rich tapestry of spices, herbs, and vegetables lay an ingredient no one would ever suspect: snake. The serpent's essence, when melded into the broth, imparted a unique, almost mystical flavor that captivated anyone who tasted it. The discovery had been purely accidental. One evening, as Dodo was preparing her soup, a snake had slithered into her cooking pot, unnoticed until the soup was nearly finished. The resulting dish was unlike anything she had ever made. It was richer, more profound in taste. Her customers couldn't stop talking about it, describing it as otherworldly. Faced with her newfound success, Dodo made a silent, desperate pact with herself. She ventured into the nearby forest, learning to catch snakes with skill and secrecy. She would prepare them meticulously, ensuring that their essence was perfectly integrated into her soup. This secret was hers alone. Not even Kofi, the young, eager boy who helped her at the stall, had any inkling of what truly gave the soup its magic. Dodo knew that revealing this would not only shock her community but could also end her burgeoning culinary empire. She justified it to herself as a necessary secret for the greater good of her business and her family's future. Yet, with every batch of soup she prepared, the weight of that secret grew heavier. Each compliment on her soup was now tinged with the fear of discovery. The stranger's warning began to weave itself into her daily life, making her question how long her secret could remain hidden in the shadows of her success. Kofi, an orphan who had come to work for Dodo in exchange for food and shelter, was a bright and curious boy. With his quick mind and nimble fingers, he had learned much from Dodo, admiring her not just for her culinary skills but for her resilience and spirit. He often imitated her cooking techniques, his eyes gleaming with dreams of one day having his own stall, filled with his own creations. Yet, beneath this admiration, Kofi couldn't ignore the strange occurrences he'd noticed. There were odd smells emanating from the cooking pot at certain times, and the peculiar way Dodo handled some ingredients, as if they were sacred or dangerous. The most unsettling was the occasional sight of Dodo sneaking off into the forest, carrying nothing but a burlap sack. One evening, as the market's bustle began to wane and Dodo prepared to close the stall, Kofi's curiosity overcame his loyalty. He decided to follow her. Staying hidden among the dense foliage, he trailed her through the forest, his heart beating faster with each step. The sight that greeted him was one he would never forget. Dodo, with surprising agility, caught a snake, killed it with practiced efficiency, and placed it into her sack. Kofi returned to the stall, his mind in turmoil. His heart pounded with the weight of the secret he now shared. Should he confront Dodo, risking their relationship and his livelihood? Should he inform the authorities, potentially destroying the woman who had given him a home? Or should he keep her secret, living with the knowledge of what truly went into the soup that had made her famous? News in the marketplace spread like the wind, swift and uncontainable. Whispers about Dodo's strange practices began to circulate. Some market-goers claimed they had seen snakes slithering near her stall, while others recounted tales of the enigmatic stranger who had given her a foreboding warning. However, many of her loyal customers dismissed these rumors as mere gossip, unwilling to believe that their beloved queen of street food could be involved in such dark secrets. Dodo tried to ignore the whispers, but they slowly eroded her confidence. Her once vibrant stall saw fewer and fewer customers, and her earnings began to dwindle. The joy of cooking was now shadowed by fear and doubt. She knew she had to act quickly to salvage her reputation and her business. The annual food festival was on the horizon, an event known to bring together the finest cooks from across the city in a celebration of culinary arts. Winning this festival could restore Dodo's tarnished reputation and secure her position as the undisputed queen of street food. With a resolve born of desperation, she decided to enter with her finest batch of Mbamba magic, aiming to silence the rumors with the undeniable quality of her dish. However, Kofi, torn by his discovery in the growing whispers, felt he could no longer keep silent. He confided in his friend Amma, a young, ambitious journalist who had been piecing together strange events in the marketplace for her latest story. Together, they devised a plan to expose Dodo at the festival, believing that the truth needed to come to light, regardless of the consequences. Their plan was simple yet daring. They would gather evidence during the festival and reveal Dodo's secret ingredient to the world, all in the name of transparency and justice. The day of the festival dawned bright and clear, with the air buzzing with excitement. Dodo's stall was festooned with vibrant banners and decorations, reflecting her hopes of redemption. Her soup, simmering in a large, ornate pot, sent waves of its tantalizing aroma across the festival grounds, drawing in judges and spectators alike. People queued eagerly, their mouths watering for a taste of the legendary Mbamba magic. As the judges, a panel of esteemed local food critics and chefs, took their first spoonfuls, the crowd hushed in anticipation. Suddenly, Alma, with her megaphone in hand, stepped into the center of the gathering, her voice cutting through the murmurs. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice clear and resolute, "before you enjoy this soup, you deserve to know the truth about its secret ingredient." Gasps rippled through the crowd, heads turning towards Dodo. Alma continued, detailing what Kofi had witnessed in the forest, the catching, killing, and secret use of snakes in Dodo's renowned soup. Dodo's face turned an ashen pale, her hands trembling as she gripped the edge of her stall. The judges, now staring at their spoons with a mix of horror and disbelief, demanded an explanation. Dodo, caught in the spotlight of her own deceit, tried to defend her methods. "The snakes are harmless," she pleaded, "their essence only enhances the flavor, it's a tradition misunderstood." But her words fell on deaf ears. The shock and betrayal on the faces around her were palpable. The festival, meant to be her salvation, had turned into her undoing. In the wake of the festival, Dodo's stall was promptly shut down by the health inspectors, her reputation in tatters. She returned to her village, where whispers followed her like shadows. The community, once proud of her success, now viewed her with a mix of pity and disdain. Humbled and filled with shame, Dodo sought redemption. She began teaching the young ones about the importance of honesty, integrity, and the ethical responsibilities of a cook. Kofi, despite the guilt gnawing at him for his part in exposing Dodo, channeled his talents into becoming a respected chef. He opened his own stall, where he prepared dishes that truly honored the cultural heritage he had learned from Dodo, minus any secretive practices. His food was celebrated for its authenticity and transparency. Alma's article, titled "Snake in the Pot," became a notable piece, teaching future generations about the perils of deceit and the value of transparency. Years later, Dodo returned to the bustling marketplace, not with the intent to sell but to guide. She became a mentor to the new generation of cooks, sharing her mother's recipes and the lessons learned from her fall from grace. She emphasized the sacred bond of trust between cook and customer, ensuring that her legacy would be one of redemption rather than scandal. The legend of the snake